Welcome back, fellow Horror Night fans and Universal fans alike. Welcome back to another episode of Halloween Horror World, where today we're going to be reviewing Halloween Horror Nights 2016 Hollywood. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Hey guys, so the way that this review is going to be going is going to be overall, and then mazes, scare zones, the event itself, and then also some scare actors. Some things I liked, some things I didn't like. So, overall thoughts straight off the bat, this year has been by far one of my favorite years I've ever attended, going back all the way to 2006 to onwards, and it's definitely topped one of it. It may be one of my all-time favorite years. And that's difficult to say because 2007, 2008 were amazing, and 2011 was a lot of fun. So this has definitely done really well to come up to the top of that list. It's hard to say if it would be my number one year, but it's definitely up there with it. So the lineup of mazes. Let's talk about the meat of the event, which is the houses for this year. Overall, the lineup was amazing. I mean, really enjoyed the lineup for this year. In most years, I'm a bit, I'll do that, and then, oh, that one, I'm really excited for that one. This is the first year in a long time where I was like, I want to do all these mazes. They all look fantastic. All the houses for this year look fantastic. But, yeah, there were some bits that were a bit off for me. The Exorcist was definitely enjoyable, though it had a few flaws. I think it was used too much of, and I know this is the running joke with Hollywood black walls. Scenery-wise, it was mainly the bedroom. They could have changed it around a little bit, maybe do bits from the steps or the church, asylum, that sort of thing. They could have done a few things. But mainly it was from bedroom, black wall, black wall, black wall, bedroom. Again, those are just things that I wasn't overly thrilled about, but at the end, the overall feel of the maze was fantastic. From getting into that line, it was amazing. John and Chris did a fantastic job bringing The Exorcist to life. And kudos to them. It's a very hard film to bring to a live attraction, because it mainly takes place in one room. And also kudos to for John, for having the idea to try and implement the band trailer into the maze, and I thought that was definitely interesting. I just wish there was a bit more to see, because most of the time you're going through black walls and then Captain Howdy would jump out, but the Pazuzu statue, that was really, really cool. So like I said, The Exorcist was fantastic, though not without a few minor details that kind of bugged me a little bit. But let's talk about some really, really amazing mazes this year. Krampus, by far my favorite year maze this year. The house itself was fantastic. It had everything I wanted a Krampus house to have. It had the dark elves, it had the gingerbread men, it had, which by the way was really cool, because when you got into that room, it smelled like gingerbread. It was fantastic. But then it led up to a scare with one of the dark elves. But Krampus himself got by far the most scares out of any maze I've ever seen. And that's going through from Freddy vs. Jason, Exorcist, all of that. Krampus himself got so many scares. And kudos to the actors for those, because they did a brilliant job bringing the shadow of St. Nicholas to life. And it made me jump a couple of times. And that maze was fantastic. American Horror Story, like The Exorcist, does have a few flaws. There were a few empty rooms that really didn't have anything. For example, there was one room in Hotel where we walked in and it's just white, and we're literally like, we all just looked around and were just like, what is this? So that was a little bit confusing. But the maze itself was a lot of fun. Seeing all those familiar characters. If you've watched the show, you'd love it. It implemented a lot that I love about the show. Freddy vs. Jason, fantastic. I really enjoyed it. This was definitely one of my highlights for this year. and I thought it was just going to be a generic throwaway maze because it was at Orlando, but no, it is amazing. The sets, the characters, they all worked really well within those environments. Really kudos to John and Chris for designing such a fantastic looking maze from the outside facade all the way inside, and it was really enjoyable. First time I went in, your eyes are still used to the light, so it was almost pitch black. Couldn't see where I was going. It scared me even more because some of the Freddies were inside the walls and they made me jump, so definitely kudos to them. Halloween, definitely one of my favorites for this year. Halloween 2 is by far my favorite horror sequel of all time, and seeing it come to life inside a house is amazing. Getting to experience Michael's journey from the Doyle house all the way to Haddonfield Memorial. One of the things I do wish they kind of implemented, which I did like in the Orlando, seeing some of the footage of their house, is the explosion and kind of a half-burnt Michael. That was really cool. However, the ending for Halloween was definitely unique. Definitely got some scares out of a lot of people. Made me jump a couple of times. So that one was a lot of fun. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, not much more to say. Definitely, if you know Texas, it's along the same lines. If you experienced it in Orlando, it's kind of an altered version of that, though it has new locations. Definitely had some really good scares. There's one that got me with a Leatherface around the corner. I did not see him. He revved his chainsaw, and my back just arched and kind of ran away. So kudos. This is actually, speaking of which, this is one of the few years that's actually made me jump more times than I care to admit. Yes, all the mazes have been fantastic this year. Terror Tram was a lot of fun. I think this was by far one of my favorite Terror Trams that's been in the past few years. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed the story. Just wish I had got more footage of it. Unfortunately, it was really jam-packed. I couldn't, most of the footage was people's back, so I didn't want to show you that. But I like the Hollywood Harry storyline. Definitely a lot of fun. And so Terror Tram was great. Scare zones. Let's talk about The Purge real quick. The Purge was awesome. And I never thought I'd say that about The Purge, but it was awesome.